Well, after a Steelers loss, now there appears to be some culture issues, but who ain't surprised about that? Spoiler alert, not a lot of people. Let's talk football. All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the All Around Sports Podcast, where sports are everything on this channel. I'm your host, Antonio. Today, we are talking about, again, the Pittsburgh Steelers. After a day or two of not talking about them, they have now appeared to have had some culture issues as Cam Heyward came out and said, and quote, the last 3 weeks we played like bleep. Expletive, so probably you know what. When 10 guys do their job and one guy doesn't, we are screwed. But this sparks a lot of criticism as the Steelers now have appear to have a culture issue, but who really isn't surprised about that because it's Russell Wilson in the locker room. But now I'm going to talk about this all here in just a second. But before we get started, if you all do enjoy this video, please be sure to do me a favor and smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. For now, let's talk about the black and gold. Steelers. This is something I constantly pointed to at the beginning of the year. Russell Wilson is a locker room troublemaker, and he's ultimately causing all of this. But now we look at this, and you got the 3 game losing slant. And basically, when Cam Heyward said, when 10 guys do not do their job and one guy doesn't, we're screwed. I think he means the secondary because there's been guys wide open left and right. So that entirely rules out linebackers. That entirely rules out defensive linemen. So now it's one of the secondary people. So my question to the Steelers player are, why don't you keep it in the locker room? Because we know this. If you're an NFL player or NFL media, you all know this. If you say something like Cam Heyward said out with the public eye to see, it is going to spark a conversation. So if you want to deal with it, talk about it in the locker room. So that way it's behind the steel curtain and the closed doors. Back to the topic. This team reminds me of a team that we saw last year, the Philadelphia Eagles, when they had their little collapse. They had a 10-1 record. They went on to lose the division, having a final record of 11-6. Now we're seeing a very similar thing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, another team in the same state as Pennsylvania. But this is what I constantly pointed to. The Steelers, if Russell Wilson does not play a perfect ball game, they are going to lose football games. And now your defense ain't going to be there to save you because they cannot, one, stop the run, two, can't defend the pass, and three, TJ Watt ain't even being a factor, which he was always meant to be a part of this defense. This is one thing that I've constantly gotten annoyed about of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They want to win, but they don't tank. They don't tank. Mike Tomlin has built a culture in Pittsburgh that if they're just going to continue to win no matter what, just try tanking for a year. See how it goes. Because Russell Wilson, for sure, ain't the guy. Justin Fields, maybe, still needs to work on that deep ball. But if we look at the draft class that you are looking at, you got loads of good, relatively decent quarterbacks available. You got Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders that are probably going to be done out of there with the first 2 picks. You got Quinn Ewers. You got Carson Beck. Any of those quarterbacks from this draft class, I think could fare very well with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But they don't tank because they want to keep on winning. Just like the old saying, old song, all we do is win. That's what the Steelers do. And it's so frustrating because, one, it's frustrating for all us other fans because they're constantly in the playoff picture. That's number one. Number two, they don't tank because they want to just keep this high expectation standard of not having a losing season. They've not had a losing season since the early 2000s, but long before Ben Roethlisberger became their quarterback. But another thing I wanted to point to, I want to pull this up. Here's the Steelers' record by month. September to November through November, the Steelers are 34, 19, and 1. And this is for the last 5 years, including the playoffs. That NFL ranks fifth in the NFL. The Steelers in total win 8-3 through that time. And then in December through January, including the playoffs, they're 16-16, tied 14th in the NFL, and have a record right now of from December to January of 2-3. This is what I'm constantly pulling into. The Steelers, they had a wide open gap to win the division. All they had to do was win out. But what did you end up doing? You choked 3 games in a row to really good teams. You get blown out by 14 or more points. And you possibly have given up the only chance you have to win a playoff game to your division rival, the Baltimore Ravens.
This is the worst.
This is what I'm talking about. And I said at the beginning of the season, if the Steelers win the AFC North, they might have a chance to win a playoff game. But if they lose the division, which is clearly looking like that's the case, they are going to be one and done. This is the most predictable thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their offense has become so predictable under Russell Wilson. And heck, who wouldn't expect that because he was with Seattle for some time and their offense is predictable all the dang time. That's number one. And their defense ain't even being the same factor that it was in recent years. TJ Watt is not doing his thing. You got Cam Ward chirping with the locker room. You got so many things going on in this locker room. And I personally think that the Steelers need to reset. They need to start over from the beginning. They need to start over, reset the entire locker room, the entire coaching staff, then just start winning afterwards. And then I think they should try a tank next season, then take a quarterback afterwards. And maybe you might have a chance at a Super Bowl because with Mike Tomlin, although he has one, he ain't going to bring home a championship in the long run if you keep playing like mediocrity like you are right now. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys think the Steelers have a culture problem? Let me know why or why not down in the comment section below. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to do me a favor and smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I'll see you all in the next one. Ciao for now.